From the shores of Lake Erie to the horseshoe at noon, we're talking Browns, Guardians, Cavs. Yeah, we're changing the tune. It's a Buckeye state of mind. Yeah, we bleed scarlet and gray. We're breaking down the game and we're doing it our way. Don't want the watered down, don't want the polite. We're dealing in the truth, bringing all of the hype from the 216 to the 614. It's the daily dose of sports that you've been looking for. Yeah, we're going nuclear. Cleveland fighting Buckeye field. From the dog pound roar to the stripped OHIO. Going nuclear. Let's get ready to go. We're talking ball strikes, touchdowns, and all the drama. Welcome to Going Nuclear.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the Land, part of the Land Multimedia Group. I am Ethan Greenberg, along with my co-host Mike Pellegrini and Drew Hagenbaugh. Fellas, a good Thursday evening to you all. No Thursday night football for the Browns, but that's okay. There's no reason to cry. No reason to cry. And the Guardians already played today, so no reason to cry about them, actually, for once. How we doing, guys?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. You know, it's hopefully we don't. We've got some weather here in the Richmond, Virginia area, and hopefully it doesn't cause any power blips or outages or so on and so forth. But we'll just have to, kind of hold on here, hold on for dear life. The other night I was on a podcast and it something kicked me off on Sunday night. I was doing the Prospects of the Land baseball podcast, and we got blipped for a second, or at least I did, and fortunately popped right back on, thankfully. So it was all good. Mike, how you doing, bud?
It's quite funny you mentioned that, because before the Guardians game today, there was loads of horrible weather going on outside my window, and I was a bit concerned that I was going to lose the internet and so forth before the Guardians game. But luckily, it disappeared in time, and we got to see the Guardians win a series for the first time since July. Much needed, because obviously we'll speak about it a bit later, but we're going on this crucial road trip. First to Colorado, then to Anaheim, where, in my opinion, we need to go at least 4-2, in my opinion. But
yeah, and then they've got Kansas City after that, so they've got
They've decided to come a bit hot. They've won 5 straight, Kansas City have, so.
Well, these things happen. But yeah, we will get to the Guardians here shortly. I guess the biggest topic in town, I suppose, is our beloved Cleveland Browns. The Browns heading into preseason week number 2, setting up for a matchup with the Buffalo Bills today. The ever important joint practices out in Berea, cross country mortgage, field house, etc., whatever they call the facility there in Berea. I guess first and foremost, we all watched the game last week between the Browns and the Bears. That game, Deshaun Watson started it. And before the game even, when that was announced that he was starting, Coach Todd Monken said, hey, Deshaun's starting this one. Shador will start the next one, blah, 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 blah. We watched the game, and if you look strictly at the numbers, it looks like, and I think you could argue that Deshaun Watson maybe had a better game overall. He played more than Sanders. He played the whole first half. Sanders only played one quarter. Watson leading the team to 2 scores. They had 10 points, and Sanders got him in the red zone. They went for it on a 4th down. It was a brutal play, got stuffed, and then he ended up with no points. His last drive, his last possession was an interception, which might have been caused by a slippery ball due to swamp ass. Have you guys ever heard that?
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite terms to use during the summer.
Well, I've heard the term, but I've
Yeah.
never heard of having someone's butt juice on football. Like, can you imagine? Like, hey, what's that? Dang, this ball stinks.
I don't think I would have touched that ball. As soon as that ball sounded, I'd be, ooh, what the hell is that? You want me to throw this?
Exactly. Do you guys just start thinking about like in Major League, the movie Major League with what is it, the old Harris, and he's like, "You put snot on the baseball?" I ain't got yeah, anything I can. I got some Crisco down here. And he put a little jalapeno in my nose, and you put snot on the baseball. So that was crazy in and of itself there. And overall, the team, the score was not pretty. It got we go out up to 10-0, and then they took out the first team, especially the first team defense, and we just got destroyed. So that left me a little bit concerned. I don't know about you guys. Did you leave that game the same way I left it, where I'm feeling, oh crap, our defense, this could be a problem if there are any injuries especially to our secondary, because it looked brutal.
Not necessarily, just because when I watch preseason, I understand it's more so a kind of like a tryout for guys who got invited to camp, guys who got invited to try out for the roster. Obviously, it's a lot of his practice guys getting the majority of the game time. So when I see like the score and I see like the box score or whatever, it does, obviously it doesn't shock me to see like, oh, this guy is playing horrible. This guy's been bouncing around from practice squad to practice squad. So like, of course, like he's not going to play superb. But now the only thing I look at is if one, like Deshaun starts with the ones. Now, how did he look with the ones, and how did he fare? Same thing with Shedeur this weekend. Like when we see Shedeur on Saturday, how's he gonna fare? Because that's the only thing. But like once we get to Shedeur's throwing to third stringers, I kind of like, he's throwing to third stringers. That like, yeah, you want him to throw the ball well and obviously look good doing it and stuff like that, but I can't fault him for any sacks and stuff like that, really, because again, like you have a fourth string guy blocking for you. I mean, he's going to be a revolving door, and he's going to. I kind of take a lot of the preseason with a grain of salt.
No, that's fair. I mean, Mike, do you kind of see it the same way?
Yeah, I have a really hard time grading preseason performances because I think the plan originally was to only have the starters on offense in for the first drive, but if I remember correctly, we went 3-and-out.
Yep. Yes, it was a horrible first.
We had to then extend that to the second drive, which we went 10-0 up. Or did we score 3 points in the first drive? Or was it 3-and-out?
So the first drive we went 3-and-out because we ran the ball 3 straight times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the next drive we went down to kick the field goal.
No throwing play. I remember now.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So we extended the ones to a second drive.
Right.
And after that, for me, it was just about the quarterbacks. Like the defense, I kind of expected it because you're getting third and fourth string guys on defense playing out there. It was just the quarterback play I was keeping a close eye, really, just to see if they were getting the ball out quickly, how they were reading the defense, what the accuracy was like, were they underthrowing, overthrowing, stuff like that. That was kind of more what I was looking at because, to be honest, I don't really know much about the Bears, like third and fourth strings. So it's really difficult to gauge who we're actually playing against. Like,
right.
Really give a fair grade on people's performances. But at the same time, it kind of felt a bit expected as well that the third and fourth strings were going to look a bit mad.
I mean, we looked, our third and fourth strings, our secondary looked brutal. So we definitely need to pay attention to that. That could be a problem. Although I'm seeing he went out. Let's see. He had an interception in the game? Michael Coates Jr. in the game last week had an interception. Now, did he leave the game with an injury? I believe, right?
Yeah, he did because he was one of our best.
Right, but he's been back in practice. He's been
UDFAs or whatever on defense, and then he picked up an injury afterwards.
Right, and he's been back in practice though, and I believe the other day he had an interception of Watson, and we'll get to that in a moment. But
I can do that.
yeah, exactly. So that was certainly something that drew my attention, is just what is this defense going to be once the starter, if something happens to a starter, if Denzel Ward can't play or Tyson Campbell can't play or someone along those lines.
Oh, it's doomed. Like if one of those guys goes out, it's
Nate Evans was getting worked.
Because you already knew this anyway, because we knew that from the back of the last year that our DB depth was kind of weak. So
right,
as soon as Campbell or Denzel Ward go out, we're kind of
host. Yeah, no, I think that's a very kind way of putting it.
Am I imagining this as well? That you guys might remember the game, but wasn't there a game where I think Campbell got hurt or came out of the game, and then the quarterback threw towards Denzel Ward in like 3 consecutive plays on like a clutch drive, like right.
Well, are you thinking about the game? Are you thinking about Pittsburgh when Aaron Rodgers went after him because he was trying to? I don't know,
3-4 times, and it's like I think Campbell wasn't on the field. It's like
because Campbell. Yeah, he wasn't on the field because I remember it was the final drive of the game.
Yeah.
And they're in the red zone. He threw it to Denzel 3 straight times, and Denzel almost picked one of them off because he dove for it and almost got it. Then the last one, everyone was calling for a pass. I remember the last one everyone was calling for pass interference. But he went up and got his hand up on the ball or something. And
but if I remember correctly, didn't we have a backup DB on the other side?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I didn't remember. I remembered Rodgers going after Denzel, which we were like, what are you doing? It was, first of all, they blew that game because they were trying to avoid giving up a sack to Myles Garrett. That was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. Well,
weren't they trying to go towards, who was it?
Not
DK.
Mark. Okay, yeah.
I think DK, he was being marked up by DK, and I think since DK is a bigger wide receiver, so I think he was just trying to get it up to DK every time, and Denzel had him locked down completely. And then the one was the miscommunication between DK and Rodgers, because that was one that Ward almost picked off.
And speaking of which, that guy needs to get on the jugs machine. I love Denzel, but he has dropped too many potential interceptions. They talked about it on the radio. I know he should have had a pick of Shador. I don't know if that was yesterday or the day before, but if he could start getting some picks, man, his stock would go even higher than it already is. He is a lockdown corner, but he doesn't necessarily get all the glory because he's not getting the interceptions.
I mean, I could care less if he gets the interceptions. As long as the guy's not catching the ball, that's fine by me.
No, but there's some times where the ball's there to be intercepted, and if you don't intercept it, the drive continues.
Well, yeah,
right?
if it's like in your hands or something and you drop it, then I'm gonna be pretty pissed because you should be catching that ball. Like
right. Unless you're Jerry Jeudy.
But again, the one I referred to with the Pittsburgh one, he had to dive for it, and he had to so that was a little bit more complicated. And so I don't mind him dropping. And
no.
The ball was even close to DK at that point, anyways. But if it's like within your hands or you turn and you can go out like kind of like a receiver and stretch out for whatever, I expect you to at least make some kind of catch. And it's like what we talked about with receivers. If it hits you in the hands, I expect you to catch the football.
Yeah, no, that's not an unreasonable thing to expect from a professional football player, even if you are a defensive back. Hell, a 300-pound lineman or 400-pound lineman can get an interception, as we witnessed in a Browns loss, not last year, but the year before. That was really was that Bailey Zappi who threw that pick to the
I think so.
to the Ravens lineman. Yeah, that's a low point. That's kind of a low point there. So we leave that game, everybody wondering, all right, what's the plan here? Now, I know a lot of people were heaping praise on Deshaun Watson. And we were waiting still to hear from Monken to find out what the plan was going to be for this week for the joint practice, and if, in fact, he was going to stick to his plan to have Shador start this week's preseason game. Now, from what I saw, first of all, Watson looked okay to start, but he's throwing behind receivers, throwing the ball into the ground. All the things that he has continually done in his time here, I don't see that having changed. He's getting sacked. Now, Shador, he threw an interception. He threw a great ball to Gage Larvadan that he couldn't hang on to. It was a good play by the defense, but he dropped it in there. He had a great throw to Luke Floria. He's willing to stand back in there. And I know they talked his drifting too far back. It creates his own pressure. He's bringing it upon himself. The tackles can't block that far back. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So I'm sure that's a teaching point. But at the same time, to me now, and we'll kind of move to this week, I'll pose this question to you of, if you're Todd Monken and the Browns coaching, in his mind, is he weighing, I've got player A that is a little bit slower in getting out of the huddle, getting the operations, getting to the line, so on and so forth. And there's some other, some technical things. There's room to learn a second-year player versus another guy who, he can operate. He can take what the coach is saying. He can get out there, but he's erratic and inconsistent in his passes. He tends, and I'm seeing it on the film, and people are pulling it out from every which direction. He will put his head down and run himself into sacks. How does the coach decide between those two quote unquote evils? Like, which is less evil? Which is worse? And there it is. And look, always positive, Jay. Both blow, LOL. Hey, I appreciate it, Jay. That I could go with that, quite frankly. But let's talk about this, guys. You might have. I think if you had tried out for quarterback, Jay, you and Mike could have had a competition, I think. I know Mike has said he thinks he could throw a ball to a guy if he had that much time back there. It's not great. So where's the balance? If you're the coach and you're looking at these two imperfect candidates for a job, how are you doing this?
I mean, you just kind of have to go with it, right? You have no other choice, because it's not like the front office is going to go out and get you a veteran quarterback to be like, look, we're going to pull a Joe Flacco situation. We're going to bring him in and everything will be solved. And we don't have to worry about watching these two guys over here, throwing butterflies and other crap and stuff like that. So it's not like you can go and do that right now. I think it's picking the lesser of two bad quarterbacks, essentially. And which one would you rather see more of? Again, we've all discussed, and we all would rather see Shador play the entire season and be like, look, if we got to draft Arch Manning, we got to draft Arch Manning, and we just go on our merry way. So I'd rather kind of see that than seeing, like, the one thing that upset me today was everyone gassing up the pass from Watson to Casey Concepcion right up the middle. That was the one good pass I've seen him throw all training camp so far. And the fact that everyone is hanging on, like there's a QB1 right there, and it's like, that's one good throw. Then the next throw, he threw it right at the lineman. He threw it right at the lineman for a pick. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
It's exactly what Zach Jackson told us. It's exactly what everybody else has said. He'll make one good play, but for every one good play, there's numerous and multiple other terrible plays and not good plays. Go ahead, Mike.
I've got an opinion on this, though. I think the quarterback competition battle, however you want to sugarcoat it, wouldn't even exist if Shador could do the basics, pre-snap.
Yes, exactly.
It's all the time stuff before the snap of the ball. But that's where the issues are causing him problems. And that's why, in my opinion, Watson's currently going to get the job, because he can get the offense lined up, do all that basic stuff. Yes, his accuracy is probably going to be worse. He's probably going to throw more picks, but I think that's what Todd Monken.
Okay. So, all right. So let me ask this:
you can't go out there and be on 3rd and 5 or 4 and 2, and then with no timeouts left, and then the clock gets to 0 and you turn the ball over because Shador hasn't lined up the offense properly. Agreed. Absolutely. Okay. So let me ask this:
and this is I don't know how this is going to sound,
But
but
if Shador could do that, I think he'd win the job, in my opinion.
definitely. No, I definitely agree. And that's why I think I'd rather go with him, because I think his issues are something you can teach. Now, my other question,
what's easier to fix? The
his stuff is
the inconsistency of Watson throwing a 40-yard pass through the middle with the next play being a pick, or Shador's basic principles of lining up the offense.
right.
Like,
I think that's
to develop.
See, I think that you can sort of fix that by simplifying things. I'm not saying you have to because he's not smart enough, but maybe you start off in a more simplistic form, knowing this guy's only a second-year player. This is not the easiest system in the world to learn. Let's take this a little bit at a time and find what he does well and continue to do that over and over again. Could you not do that, as opposed to saying, I'm going to it's like saying to a chef, fresh, who's never cooked on the line at a restaurant, at a major restaurant. They cook at home all the time. Hey, here's the entire menu, and you got to do it all. You've never cooked any of this stuff in your life, or for this large of a crowd, just do it. Well, why don't you start them off and say, all right, you know what we're going to do to make this easier for the staff and for the chef? We're going to limit the menu. We're going to limit the menu to these items, and you're going to do these things real well, and you're going to master that.
And then you gradually add more on as you go. Yeah.
Bingo. And you get all the experience. The thing about Sanders that I see, and I'm not.
But the other thing as well, because they're splitting the reps, if you just gave it all to Shador, by the time the season starts, because his reps would have pretty much doubled, he probably would have got there. His progress level would have been so much better.
You would think that,
because he's having to share the reps.
Right. Now, but now here's the question that brings up. What's going on? We talked about this again. What's going on in the building and in the meeting rooms? Is there more to it that the coach is saying, I can't do this. I don't have time for this. We need to go out and win. And he thinks this is the best way to do it. So maybe he's not saying that he actually thinks that Watson is so far superior. Rather, he's saying, I need to get in there and we need to try and win some games right off the bat. And I can't have this is not a hand-holding game. I need to get in there, have somebody who knows what they're doing. Let's get it done. This will give Shador some time to be watching and taking it all in and growing. I don't subscribe to that, but I'm throwing it out there as a possible theory and mindset.
Well, then my thought is how long of a leash does Deshaun have in that regard? Because if you're giving him, because that was my thought too, is like, do you give him the first 2 weeks in Florida and say, like, look, you had the first 2 weeks, we're going back home, and you know, you're already going to get booed. Is it really worth sitting here watching you get booed to throw 3 interceptions and lose a game that was very much winnable, when we could have had Shador in there and maybe you've limited the mistakes, but the only mistakes would be, okay, we might have had a delay a game or two because he had trouble getting. I'd rather take the 2 delay games rather than the 3 interceptions, and those 3 interceptions turn into pick sixes, and that's 21 points off the board right there. And
yeah, I can't say, and I don't want to take the position that Shador's not going to make other mistakes, because he certainly is. But I just feel as though, and I'm pretty sure that we're not alone in this thinking, it seems to be popular thought, there is no future for Deshaun Watson here.
Well, and can I ask you guys this?
Yes.
Do you think there's still influence within the building from, you know, the Haslams and some of the other front office members to continue to push Deshaun to start because of how much they're paying him? Because, like, I know J.W. Johnson was a big advocate to get Deshaun. So do you think, like, him and some of the Haslams and some other people are like, look, we're paying him $230. We should still just give him the opportunity to showcase what he's got while he's healthy. And do you think there's some kind of influence there?
Less now than there was maybe if it was still Kevin. Monken's got to win. he knows he has to win. Everyone has said this, so I'm not. This is based upon what everybody's talking about, and I'm thinking about it logically. This is his first head coaching job. What if he goes in there and goes 2-15? Is his job safe 100%?
No.
I know that the Haslams are being more patient. So if he thinks, look, Watson might be more ready to play immediately, then maybe that's where he's going with it. But I that's a good question. Mike, I'll let you answer as well.
I just think the pre-snap stuff is way easier to fix than that if they just give him Shador more time, more reps.
Yep.
Because I'd rather have 5 full starts in the game and say 1 interception than have like 1 full start but like 4 interceptions from Watson,
or like a lot of missed touchdown throws,
or loads of missed passes.
Because there was a decoy. Because there was a decoy.
Well,
I'd rather have the penalties than the turnovers.
Right, sure.
Well, and my thought too is if Deshaun does start, and we all noticed the video when Deshaun did throw that pick where
he kind of shakes his arm,
kind of shaking his arm.
Like,
do you think that now? Do you think that they'd be like, because we saw it in the preseason game where they ran the ball the first 3 plays of the game. Do you think we could see something similar if Deshaun were to start, where Monken's like, look, I'm not going to have this guy throw the ball a lot because if his arm is really dead like that, I would rather run Junkins to the ground than make Deshaun throw a pass, especially more than 10 yards.
It's very possible. And what did Zach say to us? Zach said, I don't know how much does he have left in his arm?
Yeah, I don't think there's much left at all.
I don't think so either.
The structure of his arm just looks weak. Like we saw that clip today of that interception, and his arm just looked.
Well, right. It was kind of down to his side and just flaccid.
Like he dislocated his shoulder or something.
Something didn't feel right. I can't say what it is, but it looked like he shook it like something didn't feel right.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Is that the reason why in training camp we see him throw 1 good ball deep, like today to Casey Concepcion, and then the next balls are 5 yards, 2 like that 6-yard interception, and then he can barely throw the ball 5 or so yards because maybe he has 1 good deep ball in him, and then it's oh man,
right? Okay, so let me throw something out there to you guys, and this is reckless speculation, of course. But all right, I have I know in my left shoulder, I'm left-handed. I think they did x-rays and they all the symptoms. They said it's a slap tear. And so what'll happen is if I go to throw a baseball or do anything overhand, it'll kind of catch and it'll make I go, and it catches and it hurts for a few minutes. And I got to chill out with it. And then it'll be all right. I can't say one way or another what's going on. The dude had surgery. That was how many years ago was this now? See, that's how long it's been. I mean, that was like 2023 season. So we're talking almost 3 years ago.
That was after the Baltimore game, wasn't it? Was that after
it was after it was after the Baltimore game that season. And it should be okay. I would assume it's okay, but who knows? Maybe there's just some other stuff going on. I don't know. Let's face it. It may not be bad play, which ends it. It may be another injury. I could say it's equally likely. It's equally likely.
I think what's going to happen is he's going to end up eating a sack, and it's going to destroy that shoulder.
No, he will. That's why I suggested we get Jed Wills for one quarter.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
He's going to go for a short throw that gets
his arm's going to hit or something.
He's going to go, and one of the defensive linemen or someone's going to come in and just knock his arm.
And it's going to jar something.
And his shoulder's just going to...
Yeah, it really is a possibility
you
that you have to be
quite often, not the injury part, but those kind of plays where the
and if he's
exposed and his arm gets hit by a defender.
Yeah, and it could be very much to a non-contact injury as well, where he just throws it and he's trying to get it through a tight window and he's trying to fizz it through and he just throws his shoulder out completely.
Do you guys remember when when they saw him and he was trying to make his return and he's practicing? Oh, there's a lot of zip on his pass.
Yeah.
I've never been more tired of the word zip than that, other than talking about the University of Akron. But yeah, I don't know. Today's joint practice, they split, as they said, they split the reps. Watson got more reps with the ones, but overall, Shador threw more passes. I know people were going bonkers because on the quarterback tracker, it didn't show Shador. It only showed like one touchdown the whole day, I think. Watson had one and one interception. And Shador, they're like, he uncounted two. Your guys on your radio broadcast, probably Cleveland Browns Daily, said that he threw a couple. But per the quarterback tracker, they said the whistles blew their the refs blew their whistles, and as such, they didn't count as touchdowns. I know that the highlight was just one throw to KC, but I think that there were equally as many good throws by Sanders. Now, Judkins didn't practice. They're saying it's minor. Let's hope so. We are going to need him. A positive for today, and something that I wanted to kind of bring up, which maybe my fears have been quelled a little bit. As much as we've been talking about the quarterback competition, what do you think about the offensive line? Should we possibly be more concerned than we have maybe stated about the state of the offensive line? Because they did not look great last week in Chicago. Again, they're trying to come together. They're putting together essentially an entirely new group.
Well, I think that's more so the case, is that I think it's just all a new group. And again, when you come from a group of different teams and different styles, you're going to take some time to adjust. And so, and when, we talked about Shador's struggles of just getting to the line of scrimmage, that very much plays a factor. When, Watson's doing 5 different things at the line of scrimmage and calling out 5 different things, there could be some confusion. So I think it's just more so just getting these guys in sync, and then they'll be okay. So I'm not too overly worried about the offensive line. I think it's just more so they just need to get in sync with the quarterbacks and get in sync in general with each other and know each other's play styles before they can really gel. And that's what this preseason is for. And that's why I think maybe playing them for more than 2 snaps is a lot more important, because you want them to get right and gel together. So, but again, you don't want them to get injured as well either. So that's the other point too.
Right. What do you think, Mike, on the point of or any concerns about the offensive line after the first preseason game? Where was your mind on that and their level of concern?
So I was thinking about it just when Andrew a minute ago was talking about getting the running game more involved if Watson can't throw the ball too much, because based on the first preseason game, our run blocking was the weakness.
It was horrible.
Run blocking was much better than the run blocking. So, and if that's the case, then what do we do?
Yeah, I don't know.
If we want to be run heavy because Watson can't sling the ball too much, what do you do?
Right.
Do you put a fullback in? Do you play an extra tight end to help?
Well, heck, the guy who was supposed to be our fullback was injured or something.
Yeah, I was going to say the fullback is injured.
Yeah, what I will say is that the offensive line apparently looked pretty good today at the joint practice, which is good, going up against another team's defense. So they actually held up pretty well, and Dylan Sampson had some nice runs. And
does that mean the Browns' defense is better than the Bills then? Because if the Browns' offensive line is struggling against the Browns' defense in practice, but then it might. Bills, does that mean the Browns' defense is definitely better than the Bills?
Wasn't the Bills' defense crap last week or last year? Am I remembering correctly that they had a crap defense? Or am I misremembering this?
They couldn't stop the run, if I remember correctly.
Right. So and I'll tell you what, on the other side, from the reports I saw in those situational things where, okay, you're down 4 points, offense has the ball, and they got torched. The defense got torched by Josh Allen. So that didn't make me feel very good. This is going to be a work in progress. It is absolutely going to be a work in progress, and we have to, regardless of who's at quarterback, we need to kind of bring in our expectations, even possibly more than we already had them. I will say, and I think you guys would agree, Casey Concepcion has looked the part.
Oh, yeah.
So far. I have been he's just been very good on the field. And I mean, I'm sorry. This thing, Jerry, we talked about this. How is Jerry Jeudy still on this team? Why can't we trade him for a defensive back or a defensive lineman? This guy sucks. How many passes is he going to drop? I'm not even going to go into my tinfoil hat moment here where I think he's sabotaging Sanders because he is. This guy sucks. I'm sorry. He's got. Can I get Greg Little out there? He was just as bad. It didn't cost near as much.
Yeah, no kidding. And the thing is, too, it's like, I feel like he could play it off like he's sabotaging it, too, because he already can't catch the football. so it makes it easier to be like, ooh, no, I dropped it. Uh-oh, it's just typical Jerry Jeudy with the drop.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal. I don't love that. It is certainly not good. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. Cedric Tillman didn't practice again today. That guy's on his way out. He will be gone.
Yeah, injuries have tanked him.
Yeah, it really has. Can we get David Bell back? I heard he had good.
Can we get like Donovan Peoples-Jones back?
Oh, dude, man, that'd be solid. Hey, how about Hollywood Higgins? I think he's a firefighter, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he's going to school to be a firefighter now or something.
That's crazy. That's all. I mean, it's awesome. I'm glad, but
yeah,
we've had. I just feel that if you were to put together a wide receiver room of the young guys that they showed on the bench, was the funniest thing, and I couldn't believe what they said. If you had, I think it was Bonds, Boston, Concepcion, and you can take it for what it's worth. The person who captioned it or pointed out the initials of the players' last names, you have those guys, and you then think you've got those three receivers, and you add in players like, I don't know, who else do we have that's coming along? I wouldn't go Larbadan, but
Malachi
Corley, Wallace, Floria.
Well, yeah.
I'd rather have any of those guys than Jerry Jeudy. I know he's got more talent than them.
Well, isn't there like decent wide receiver free agents too out in the market?
There's got to be. I feel like they could do something, and I think they will. Quite frankly, Andrew Berry is very good at making that move that you didn't expect with a wide receiver and coming up with something. Todd, while you're looking that up, Todd Monken said that what was I going to say? That some of the older starters won't play, but you'll see some of the young guys. I assume that means we'll see Spencer Fano, as well as some of the receivers, Boston, Concepcion, see those types of folks. So hopefully that's the case. And you can't say, I don't want Shedeur to be set up for failure, which is what I was kind of ticked about early on this week, and saying this feels like a dog and pony show. But you never know. Again, the question is going to be, what is Monken more upset about? What pisses him off more? The operational stuff, a penalty, or throwing interceptions? Because I'd be damn pissed if I was throwing interceptions. You can overcome a 5-yard penalty. You can't really when you let the clock run out, that's kind of a goof. That's a tough one. But to me, those turnovers in the red zone are killer. You take away any points, you've got 0 instead of at least 3. It's just, I can't, I don't know. And I couldn't believe it that there were actually still people, back in the background and are coming out of the woodwork who are, Deshaun Watson people. I'm sorry. Some people say, what was he supposed to say in answer to the question from Mary Kay about, well, what do you think about, or how do you handle what you might face when you come back? She didn't out and out say, what are you going to do when they boo you? And he said, I don't care. And to me, and others have said it, so this is not an original thought, but you should have said, I understand they're paying customers. I'm going to go out there and do my best, and I'll give them something to cheer for, or whatever the case may be. Instead of saying, I don't care. Well, if you're right. You shouldn't care if you ultimately that shouldn't affect your performance, and you can't cry about it. But I think there's a better way to respond to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a better way to respond to it. Just saying like I don't care, or whatever. It shows you truly don't care, and it's
I don't care
I'm
about
gonna
his welfare, so you know.
Yeah.
it's like whatever, mate. When I saw that quote, that wound me right up because I was like, I guarantee about 99% of the fan base don't even care about him. So it's like,
no, we don't. But I think he knows that, and he's already thinking like I'm already well out of my way, gone out after this year. So who cares? I don't care.
Yep.
Because if this was like a couple of years ago, then yeah, he'd be like, look, I'll try my best to give them something to cheer for and whatnot. He'll give them more like political answer.
Yeah,
I think at this point he just does not care at whatsoever.
Yeah.
Also, I have the
what do you got? All right, let's go through that real quick.
So according to Spot Track, there's 17 free agents. So let me know if you guys want any of these guys. So you have
so the game is, would you rather Jerry Jeudy or
Jerry Jeudy or Tyreek Hill?
Well, he's broken.
So Tyreek Hill on a cheap contract if it was like
I don't think he's able to even play right now.
That is true. He's actually injured, isn't he? So
yeah, still recovering. Okay, let's go.
Jerry Jeudy or Curtis Samuel?
I'd take him. He's a bit long in the tooth, but I'd still take him. He's reliable.
Jerry Jeudy or DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh, DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, let's keep going.
Has he not been signed yet?
No, he's not.
No, he hasn't. Jerry Jeudy or Josh Reynolds?
I worked with an attorney named Josh Reynolds. He was a
Jerry Jeudy or Zay Jones?
Zay Jones was rather underwhelming. I'll take Jerry Jeudy.
Last two you've said are both terrible. They're just probably worse than Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy or Hunter Renfrow?
Actually, I don't mind Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is pretty reliable.
And he's one of the best route runners in the league.
Yeah, I would take Hunter Renfrow, sure.
And he's got reliable hands.
Heck yeah, he does.
Jerry Jeudy or Sterling Shepard?
Yeah. I guess I could take it or leave it. I guess I'd stick.
Well, let's go through it. Dwayne Eskridge.
Who?
Exactly. Who's that?
He was on my dynasty team. Still in the taxi squad.
Is he dead? Did you cross him off the list?
Yeah. I dropped him like a week ago.
Oh, okay, good idea.
So, let's see, DeAndre Carter, who's already here.
Oh, yes, he was. Yeah, he was here, and he got injured, and we were supposed to be like kickoff returner, and
yep.
So no, okay.
Okay, how about Brandon Cooks?
Oh, Cooks, he's old, a little long in the tooth. If he's healthy, I wouldn't mind him. I don't mind him. He's all right. I'd take him.
A guy a similar age, Tyler Lockett.
Oh, I'd take him. Absolutely. Come on down. Let's go.
Mind you, like the Brandon Cooks and Lockett contracts were $1.2 million apiece.
I would absolutely take them at their age as backup receiver than Jeudy trying to be an alleged WR1.
Here's a guy who had a decent season in Buffalo and who's still 27 years old.
Gabe Davis. Take him, and did you take him? I'll take him.
Yeah. James Prochet.
Man, he was here too, wasn't he?
I think so, for a year. Bring him back.
No.
And then the last three are undesirables or unknowns. They're guys who are in their like third, second year. So you have Bryce Ford Wheaton. Never heard of him. Malik Heath. And then a guy who is he's only in his second season, Joshua Cephas.
That sounds like a major problem there, Cephas.
Yeah. But there's
yeah.
guys on here. Curtis Samuel's a solid one. I mean, you have Renfro, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis. Those are solid. I'd definitely take over Jerry Jeudy at this point.
Right, at a much less expensive contract. So what I would do is
all within a mil.
I'd flip Jeudy to a team that's wide receiver needy and try and turn it into a D lineman or a defensive back. Do something. They got to do something because we got positions that are much thinner than the wide receiver room. And I don't see Jeudy in our future. If there's any way to get something out of him, they might have to do it. It may not be to start the season. It may be within a few weeks. They may have to wait a little bit, but yeah, that's a questionable thing.
Now we could go down to DB's one. You got Marshawn Lattimore as the first one.
Is he not on the team?
No.
What? Did something happen to him?
I don't remember. You also have Tre'Davious White from Buffalo.
Jeff
Okudah.
I'd take Okudah. Come on, Buckeyes.
Adoree Jackson. Chris Boyd, Artie Burns, CJ Goodwin.
Okay.
There's a couple good ones on here too. That could be good backers.
I think that there might be a diamond in the rough, and we're gonna have to wait till teams make their cuts.
I was gonna say this. Guys from other teams' 90s down to the 53s that don't make
right.
the cut.
There will be people
pick up guys from there on the defensive side, yeah.
And we again, if I to use the example, Ronnie Hickman, who's going to be our next guy that's like the UDFA that turns into a pretty decent dude. You know, could it be this Coates guy? Could it be? Let's wait and see. Let's just wait.
Martin Emerson.
I can't believe they didn't keep him.
Could have just kept Martin Emerson.
Where did he go?
Saints. Yeah, he went to New Orleans
for like cheap.
Yeah, he went for like $2 million or something.
Yeah, something very, 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 very reasonable and affordable.
But didn't I say Martin Emerson that he should have Brown should have just turned around and said to him, "Look, this is going to be about essentially a contract year for you because you missed it last year. We'll give you like 2-3 million, and then you can be like DB free.
Yeah,
but you'll get enough reps to like show your worth, kind of thing."
Well, let me throw this there to you just to kind of be play devil's advocate. He's a physical outside corner, but we've got Campbell and Ward, and they really need a slot. They need more of a slot corner. How would that equate to it, guys? And obviously it's good to have people who can play backup on the outside. And if someone goes down with an injury, but that's something that goes through my mind a little bit when you're talking about a Martin Emerson and why you would or wouldn't keep him.
Speaking of bad QB play, by the way, Fernando Mendoza just threw an 80-yard pick six.
Who are they playing again?
They're playing the Texans.
Oh, nice on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, so he just chucked an 80-yard pick six.
Awesome.
I don't think he's going to start. I've got a feeling that Kirk Cousins is going to start week 1.
I think Kirk Cousins is easily going to start.
Oh, but gosh, didn't you see his first touchdown pass, Fernando Mendoza? Everybody acted like he was the greatest thing since freaking Joe Willie Namath.
How's Drew Allard been since? Have they played again since that first game?
No, they have not played their second preseason game, but obviously he looked pretty good. And of course, everybody in Pittsburgh is talking about him. But let's remember, again, this is why we can't overreact.
Did DTR have a good preseason game?
They talked about it in the Hall of Fame game. He was like amazing. And remember when Kenny Pickett was amazing in preseason for the Steelers?
Yep.
And then he wasn't so amazing after games against the Columbus Aviators in the bloody UFL Warriors.
Yeah, DTR, that is. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. We'll have more to break down. The Browns and the Bills will be in action at Huntington Bank Field on Saturday afternoon. What you got, Mike? What you got?
Carson Schlesinger, what's going on with him?
I mean, what did Monken said? So he said he's not going to be out there this week. Won't be playing the game. He's hoping next week. As long as they can get him as long as whatever the injury is, he's up to speed and ready to go for the regular season, I'm not worried about him. But yeah, generally I am worried.
You changed your tuning because the other day you were in the chat worried about him, not because there was no real update.
Right. Yeah. And then they talked to him and he said, well, it's this. So generally speaking, because I am the way I am, I'm worried because I always imagine the worst case scenario. In reality, as long as it's not a long-term injury and he can get back and up and running, he'll be good to go by the time the season starts. He's not going to be behind, is what I'm saying. So health is of the utmost importance for him. All of that being said, just want to remind folks for all of your sports apparel needs and just everything else, you need your shoes, your back to school stuff. You got to get some gym shorts so you can go to gym class and all that jazz. You want to have an awesome party, climb some rock walls, go to a golf simulator, check out with the pro shop, head on out to Dick's House of Sport in Strongsville, a proud supporter of the Land Multimedia Group. Moving on, well, this will be a quick hitter, a quick topic. Yesterday, the Cavs finally did something. They finally did something. We've been waiting for it. The Cavaliers make a big move. They have now added Peyton Watson from the Denver Nuggets. No relation to Deshaun. Max Strus will head out to the Clippers, be reunited with Darius Garland. The details of the trade, the Cavs get Watson from the Nuggets and a 2027 second rounder from the Clippers, which is then going to the Wizards. And also they are set to get Cam Whitmore from the Wizards. But Mike, I believe you said that they're going to move on from him, or they're going to do something to what did you read about the situation with Cam Whitmore?
So they're going to waive and stretch his contract. So essentially, the Cavs can waive Cam Whitmore,
yep,
and then stretch his 5 point whatever million salary is over the next 3 seasons.
Okay, help out the salary cap situation.
It reduces the cap hit, which will then effectively allow the Cavs to sign at least one player on like a minimum contract alongside the James Harden extension. So
right, and then that happened today, James Harden extension. In all of this, the Nuggets, they get the unprotected 2031 Cavs first round pick. Hopefully the Cavs first round pick in 2031 is like way out because they're actually good. So, it is what it is. A 2032 Kings second rounder and Julian Reese from the Wizards. They will waive Reese off his two-way deal. This is according to an article from Shams Charania. So I don't know. This may not be completely up to date. The Clippers, they end up with Max Strus. The Wizards get Trey Mann from the Cavs. The Cavs had just acquired him from the Hornets, and where they sent Dennis Schroeder. Trey Mann goes to the Wizards. They get a 2027 second rounder from the Cavaliers. That was via the Clippers, and they get cash from the Cavs, and then again the Hornets end up with Dennis Schroeder. So a 5-team deal, and the big prize in all of this for the Cavs is Peyton Watson. Guys, are you happy? It took a long time for the Cavs to be able to get this move done. Where do you fall, or what do you think after this move has been made?
Well, it's only taken them 8 years to find an athletic, tall wing guy. They've literally been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Since LeBron left in 2018. Like, they've gone through the likes of Okoro, Dean Wade, Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter.
Right.
And and there's probably other guys as well, but those are like the 4 guys that come to mind.
Yeah.
None of them have really shown what the Cavs need in that position. And like Windy said on ESPN Cleveland today, if Peyton Watson has a similar performance to his 1 month in January, which he had, where he got like 22 points, he shot 48% from 3 or something, then this could be a really good, smart move by the Cavs. And to be honest, that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
We have to hope for that. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking an L on Dean Wade. Sorry,
also,
I'm not.
Also, he's in his prime. Like he's like 23.
Oh yeah,
22.
he's
So it's like
more than
20.
just in his prime. He's young. I mean, that he's not probably hasn't even hit his prime. And he's got a lot of room for growth, I'd say. But yeah, the size is going to be good. It's everybody has said he's the 3-and-D guy we need. Ultimately, last year he averages 14.6 points a game, 4.9 boards, 2.1 assists, and shooting 49.1% from the field. And he played 54 games. I'm pretty pleased with it. Drew, your thoughts, sir?
Well, the one thing you didn't just mention that I'm very pleased with is his defense. I mean,
Yes.
look at his defense. He's averaging like what 1.1 blocks a game, or like
Yes,
and
and
0.9 steals or something.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
The kid's not just good offensively, but his defense is perfect. It's like what you want Isaac Okoro to be, which is a great defender, but also a good scorer, a guy who can get to the basket,
Yes,
and shoot, and get to the rim. And it's like, oh, finally we have someone who can do this.
And it should stretch the floor as well.
And he can stretch the floor. Now, imagine how fun James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are going to have with Peyton Watson. They're going to have so much fun with him, and it's going to be a great watch for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. How do you guys think he compares? And I haven't looked at the actual, I don't know, physical stats, but how do you think he compares to DeAndre Hunter and what they hoped he would be?
I would say he's obviously younger, but I would say he's trying to think of like right words to use here. But I would say he's what you wanted in Hunter, but better. Like, I'm not saying Hunter's bad, but
he has more upside.
He has more room to grow. He has more upside, but I would more consistency than DeAndre Hunter. He's he's more consistent as a player. So like we got used to DeAndre Hunter scoring maybe like one night he scored 20 points, and then the next 3 nights he would score like 8, and then he would score 20 points. Then he'd score 8, 7, 9, 20. And it's like, okay, we need consistency. Like, I need you to hit at least 12 to 15 a game. Give me some kind of base and consistency. And this is what Peyton Watson can get you. He can get you that consistency of, I can get you 14 to 16 a night. And I'm like, cool, great. And I would say he's a little bit better defensively than DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pleased with it. And for all of the people, and I know there's reasons to sometimes be down on James Harden, and there were reasons and times, but
that's what I was looking for.
He ultimately sacrificed or did a solid for the Cavs so that they could make a move. And he waited and waited and waited to sign a contract at first to try and get LeBron here or whomever. And now he continued to wait. And the Cavs, they did right by him. I know that, again, he kind of gets a bum rap, especially during the playoffs. We were all ticked off with him in the turnovers. But he won us some games, and he certainly proved his worth. I'll take what he did is a pretty nice team move. So I can't be hating on that too much. I actually think that, and they went over this, I listened to this, they talked about what's going on in the Eastern Conference. We really don't know. Are the Pacers actually going to be good? I say no. Just because they get Halliburton back. They got nothing. What else do they have, right? The Knicks obviously are still going to be good, although they've lost a couple pieces. The Celtics, well, they're changing directions. Now you've gone from having Jaylen Brown to now you've added, you get Paul George, who's older, but you also added Mitchell Robinson to help toughen up and help on the defensive end, on the boards. The Magic, they've been inconsistent. They're going to have a new coach. Detroit's done absolutely nothing. And then you've got Philadelphia that stands to be top heavy and be at the top of the pecking order right now in the East. The Cavs, maybe standing pat and making the minor tweaks. I guess they're hoping someone's going to make a major leap, and we'll get more into this as the season approaches, but certainly, hopefully their minor retooling, if guys stay healthy, they'll have an opportunity here. But
yeah, I just think the Cavs are hoping that getting an actual wing guy like a Peyton Watson's going to help the performances of Mobley and Allen. Like, that's kind of what they're relying on at this point. And if it doesn't work out, then they're probably going to have to do what I've said and split them two up. But
definitely, definitely.
And I've seen a lot of people moaning about Max Strus being traded. And to be honest, like, I'm not too fussed because now it will mean that Sam Merrill will get more balanced minutes rather than them two like being kind of similar players and taking minutes off each other.
Yeah, exactly. And no doubt, I really had no problem, and I like Max Strus for sure. That's like not something that I could even I don't even know, not deny, but I really liked him, and I wish him well in LA. And maybe he and DG will have a good time out there. I don't know. Maybe they'll get some new contracts with Daktronics and whatever other phony baloney things. I don't know. At Bob's House of Cars, they'll have some great contracts out there, too, to help them out. I'm not really sure. We won't go into all that. But moving on, the Guardians, Gardos all the time. The Guardians finally win a series this afternoon at home, taking down the San Francisco Giants 5-2, taking 2 of 3 from the Giants. And despite how poorly they've played, somehow, some way, because the American League is absolute hot garbage, the Guardians are somehow still in position, if they can go on a little bit of a run, that they might be able to play some postseason baseball. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. I don't know that I even believe it. Last night, after yesterday, I was furious with Parker Messick giving up 1 run, and they lose 1-0. Couldn't come up with one bleeping run. And I think I heard that's the 13th time they were shut out this season.
Yep.
And how many times did I hear them say? Over 50 times this year they've had less than 3 runs.
Did you know that's the 8th game, right? Parker Messick has pitched this season where he's had 2 or less runs of support.
Yeah, and he's what? His record is what?
He's 0-2. He's 0-2 in those games.
That's unreal.
If you go 4-4, you're like 3 games ahead in the third wildcard spot.
Right.
If you go like 4-4 in those games.
Yeah, it's all of these little things. We talked about it last week, maybe I was talking to the guys on the Prospects of the Land, talking to Taven McCulley and Nate Bope, that there were those games that we blew. We wasted opportunities, like the game against New York, that we squandered the lead, and there was one other one that we totally pooped the bed. I just obviously Joe Adell goes nuts the other night, and then he had fouled a pitch off of his knee, and so he was held out yesterday, and he didn't play today, right? He didn't play today, correct?
He pinched it.
Oh, he did. So he pinched it. Yeah, I see that now. I see that he did come in. So my bad. And then Chase DeLauder, apparently yesterday he was good enough to take batting practice, but in the bottom of the 9th inning, they decided to put in Patrick Bailey to pinch hit.
Well, what frustrated me the most was Patrick Bailey comes up today and has 2 hits.
Simple though, isn't it? Yesterday he could have tied the game or won the game in the 9th inning yesterday.
Yeah,
and then he comes out today and gets 2 hits. It's like,
yeah, it's just maddening. And I guess I posed this.
But you know how bad though the American League is? Like, Guardians went 5 straight series without winning the series.
Right.
And yet they're 1 game out of the third wildcard spot.
It's absolutely absurd. So as it stands right this minute, I'm going to refresh the
The
standings.
Twins currently own the third spot.
Right. The Twins have won 3 in a row and are ahead of the Guardians by a game. They're 63. The Twins are 63 and 65. The Guardians sitting at 62 and 66. The White Sox in first place at 66 and 61. And right behind us, the Tigers, who sold their best players, their pitchers, and suddenly they started winning a few games here and there, and they made us look foolish. So I don't know. Let's see. So did the Twins, do they play or are they playing right now? I'm trying to find the scoreboard, so I might have missed it.
I think they were off today.
They okay, they are off today. All right, that's
Crazy though, isn't it? That the Tigers and the Orioles both sell. And they're both right in the mix for that third spot.
Yeah,
now.
it's because of how terrible the American League is.
But those front offices must be a bit annoyed though, because the problem is if you end up getting in, you've then weakened your chances once you get in.
Yeah,
if you trade away 2 of your starting pitchers and then you get to the playoffs,
okay.
you're not going to be as strong as if you just kept one of them. It's like it must be so
Well,
frustrating that they've gone into that mindset that they're going to sell, but then the team actually turns it around and they actually get in.
Oh, yeah, it would have been as if, and I guess the Guardians didn't do this last year, it would have been as if the Guardians had sold everything off at the trade deadline only to come back and overcome 15 and a half games and win the division. You would have been like, what? You never would have expected that. I think that a lot of times when teams sell like that, they have realistic expectations. The chances of you turning it around and being so good and everything falling into place are the margin is slim, but it can be done. I don't know. What do you think? That you talked about it at the outset, Mike. The Guardians, where do we go to? Colorado?
Yep.
We've got 3 games in Colorado, 3 games in Anaheim against the Angels, and then we come home and play 3 games against the Royals.
Right. And the Royals are really not good this season. They have a minus 100 run differential, 55 and 74. Wow.
What's Colorado's this year? Because last year theirs was ridiculous.
Paul DePodesta.
Their run differential last year was absurd. It was so bad.
They're minus 122 so far this season with a big.
That's nowhere near as bad as last year. Theirs was like,
oh, they were just horrendous. And so this is a situation where the Guardians, they've got to win. Like you said, Mike, I would say 4 out of 6 is an absolute must.
I said before this series just gone, 9-3 minimum, 9-3 minimum, 10-2 would be great.
Right. Well, they've already they've lost
8-4 minimum because it's, and then 9 or 3 or 10-2 would be perfect, but 8-4 minimum. So win 4 straight series essentially. Anything above that's a bonus.
Right. The crazy thing is, our starting pitching.
If you do that, that gets you basically back to 500. So,
yep.
And then you have what, about 20 odd games left to then?
Yeah. Then you've got, so by the time, if I look at the schedule, and I apologize, I should have had this pulled up. I don't.
I have a schedule pulled up too.
Do you have the Guardians schedule pulled up and
Yeah.
see where we're at the rest of kind of after this? After those series, then we're literally talking about September, guys.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one good month of baseball. But we have
a 3-game series against Toronto, and then we have a 4-game series, which includes the makeup game from June 14th that got postponed. You have a 4-game series against Detroit at home,
and then you go to Baltimore.
Then you go to
Baltimore,
Minnesota. Then you come back for 3 against Chicago White Sox. Then you play 3 against the A's. Then you go to Boston and then finish out in Kansas City for 3.
They've got I'm not. If you look at it on paper,
it's a favorable schedule going on paper.
Yeah, in theory, it's a favorable schedule. Certainly, Baltimore is turning things around. We see Detroit is playing better, as we just mentioned. Toronto's been bad. Kansas City's been bad. Minnesota certainly is sticking around, and they give us a fight. We have brawls with them. That's those guys. The A's, Are they any good? I don't think they're very good, right?
No, they started off actually decent.
Yeah, they did.
And then they did just went back to being the A's.
Right. And Boston, they started off horrible, and they've come on, and they're in position to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then we finished with Kansas City. So there's a possibility there. There's some possibilities.
Well,
the starting pitching is so terrible. I'm so angry that we're wasting the starting pitching.
And it's what the broadcast said today. Now's the time to start making a run. And
Yep.
if you can go to Colorado, and I know Mike said 4-2 on this road trip would be great. Minimum. If you can sweep Colorado and just go on like a 4-game heater, that'd be fantastic. And then maybe because I think you faced Reed Detmers in the last game of the Angels series, which is their best pitcher. But if you could take the first 2 out of 3 against the Angels, that puts you on a 6-game win streak. And then you come home. Obviously, you'd probably come home with a loss. But I would take that, because then that puts you at 500 or
One
a game above,
right?
a game above
low,
500. Right? And it probably puts you within that third wild card spot. And you're probably within 2 or so games back of Chicago for the division.
Right. There's time. I still question and wonder, is it a mentality? Who needs to talk to these guys about relaxing at the plate when they're in these situations? A guy and someone made a perfect analogy. It might have been Andre Knott, talking about, if you put it in football terms, basically what the Guardians do is like in football, where you're good between the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But getting into the end zone, that's where they're struggling. And the Guardians get guys on between the 20s, and then they can't put it in the end zone. They can't knock the guys home. And my question is it a mental thing? Who does that fall on? Is that the hitting coach? I can't believe these guys are that bad. Like Gabby Arias, he's that bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gabby Arias is just that.
The thing is, you've got rid of all the scrubs who we think are bad, yeah.
Right.
Because they're washed or they're not talented enough. But I think now the problem is it's not the lack of talent; it's a processing thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Rather than actual lack of talent.
No, I agree. And everyone has said it, and I think it's pretty obvious. You don't have to be a genius to know that Jose isn't quite himself since his injury. But it can't just be him. Kwan's up to 265. I mean,
Kwan's batting like over 400 like the last 2 months.
Yeah, he's been amazing. You'd like to see Travis start to get back into a swing of things, no pun intended.
And he's on a 2-game hitting streak now too.
Okay. I mean, he's going to get there. It's a rookie thing.
It's a rookie thing. He'll be all right.
It's just, can we just score some runs? Mike, you said it 2 months ago, 4 more runs and we'd be in great shape. I don't know.
Say we don't get the playoffs this year. Just take the White Sox, for example. Back-to-back years of getting like 100+ losses, yeah? And now they're probably going to... I don't think we're going to catch them, by the way. I just don't think this team's got enough in them to catch the White Sox. I think at this point, we're probably going to have to just focus on that third wild card spot. In my opinion.
They would have to pull a Detroit last year and go on like a losing streak. And
I mean, it's not out of the question. 4.5 is nothing, and especially when you've got we've got a 3-game homestand against them.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see the signs.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but it's really not that much.
You can use them as an example, though. They went back-to-back seasons of 100+ losses, and they're probably going to win the division this year. So it's like, if we do miss out, it's like we've got a ton loads of rookies.
Yeah, they're
maybe this is just
a down year.
A down year.
Yeah, and the thing is,
and then you get rid of the hitting coach and stuff. Bring in
that guy's got to go. Fink has got to go.
Who can help with the processing.
I swear that we
approach.
It's a terrible approach. This guy's brutal. I know we talked about it a few episodes back. He's brutal. But speaking of things which are not brutal and should be on an upswing, it's about time for the Premier League season to start up. And Tottenham Hotspur, after last year, dragging themselves above the relegation zone. Tottenham Hotspur will begin a new campaign on Saturday, taking on Brentford. Guys, what do you make? And there's been more moves today, so I'll let you kind of go down the list of what they've done, what the move is today. What do you make of all that Spurs have done during this offseason and to position themselves for a run to be at the top of the table in the Premier League?
I mean, we just got Savinho, which was which finally happened. You know, I know we've been waiting for this deal for 30 years.
Longer
so
than Peyton Watson?
Yeah, it took longer than it felt like Peyton Watson, but you know, we didn't have to wait a year for Peyton Watson. But
we've been waiting 8 years for Peyton Watson. We haven't replaced LeBron's for like 8 years.
Yeah. But no, we signed Savinho for what was it, Mike? 80 mil plus 5 mil add-ons.
So the theory that's going around is that Spurs are negotiating with Man City for a double deal for Marmoush and Savinho, and because basically that Frankfurt have a sell-on clause for when they sold Marmoush to Man City. Man City are trying to find a loophole basically to not pay it. So they're essentially going to inflate the Savinho cost, then sell Marmoush for no profit. Because that way they won't have to pay the sell-on fee, because the sell-on fee is only based on profit. So if you don't make a profit when you sell a player, you don't pay a sell-on fee. So Spurs are going to overpay for Savinho, essentially. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, because Savinho should be like a 60 million.
But they're paying 85. They're paying 80. According to Fabrizio Romano, it's 80 million plus 5 million add-ons. And the suggestions are Marmoush is going to be around 70 million-ish.
Yeah, so Savinho's inflated while Marmoush is going to be sold for kind of like undervalue.
Yes.
So that way Man City doesn't have to pay the sell-on clause to Frankfurt. So because I think wasn't there something too that they had to pay a Brazilian club too?
They do, but I can't remember how much that is. But
yeah,
I don't blame them for wanting to not give money to a European rival. Like,
right.
I'd rather give it to a poor team in Brazil. Like,
and I know Savinho has played for three straight Man City or Manchester City clubs, basically like Girona and someone else too. I can't remember who it was, but it was like City group owned teams or whatever.
Okay.
Because City
is definitely one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because City owns like New York City FC, or they own like Girona and a couple other teams. So like Savinho played for Girona and another team that was a part of the City group. So basically, they were just paying themselves.
Yeah, Girona in 23-24, 30 in La Liga, 37 matches, 9 goals, 10 assists. Then he was in I guess I'm just looking here. I see he was with Brazil and under 20 in their U20 World Cup. So I only see Girona and Man City, but there may be something else. But again, I'm not looking all into it. Where does Savinho, where would Marmoush, where do they fit into the puzzle with players that are no longer with Tottenham? And how do they fit into De Zerbi's style of play and systems?
So Savinho will mostly go out on the wing.
Okay.
Him and Marmoush are guys who'd be within the front three.
Okay.
So you'd have Savinho on the wing, and you'd have Marmoush basically and I don't know, are they going to put him as more so of a 9 ahead of like Solanke and Richarlison? Marmoush.
I think Marmoush is going to be like a 9.5. It's going to be like
he's going to be
like a 10/9.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, okay, so explain this. So
because Derby likes to have his wingers high, because then that kind of messes up with the other team's fullbacks, because they then have to cover space in behind and the winger up high. So the idea is you then have Marmoush, who kind of takes over the middle with 2 players up high, so it's then much more difficult to defend. And then if you get like a Cody Gakpo, who's going to be slightly more advanced centrally, it kind of makes it really difficult to defend against.
Right. Okay. So just to explain it, first of all, I love the fact that the commentary in the background is your dog snoring. It is the best. It's just nothing does more for the ego than hearing a dog sleep through our show. I love it. We are that calming. But explain to people who may not follow soccer when you're saying the 9 and the 10. There's 11 players on the pitch per side, including the goalkeeper. And so when you're talking, so like in baseball or whatever it is, if you're talking for fielding, left field is 7, 8, and this is ridiculous. I agree. Your poor dog there is just, he's loving life. But if you could explain to people in layman's terms,
what the numbers mean,
right? What the numbers mean.
So a 9 is say he's Harry Kane. He's your striker. He's your main point forward. So a 9 is your striker. So that's Harry Kane.
Okay.
For you, Ethan. So you have like a reference.
Sure.
A 10 is your center attacking midfielder. That's a 10. So that's more like your James Madison. He's the guy who plays as the attacking midfielder. And then you have
the 11 would be, or not 11. I'm sorry.
You have a 6, which would be your center defensive midfielder.
Okay.
Same. I believe an 8's also a defensive midfielder, if I remember right.
But they're kind of more that you kind of have like a central double pivot. One drops a bit deeper, then one's more central.
Yeah, one drops a bit more deeper. I think it's 6 drops a little bit more deeper, while the 8's a little bit more advanced. And then, I mean, it's more so like we tend to use it for, I would say, midfielders and forwards, because then obviously like it's easy to say like, oh, you know what a center back is, you know what a left back is, or a right back.
Right.
So we know like essentially a 9 is your forward, a 10 is your center attacking mid, a 6 and an 8 are your kind of like center defensive mids, while an 8 plays a slightly higher role than a 6. So like if I had to pick a 6, it would be more so, and I'm trying to think of like a good 6.
Rodri?
Rodri would be a good 6. So let's say like a center defensive mid, then an 8 would be like a Bruno, essentially Bruno Fernandes would be like an 8.
I knew a kid in my French class whose name was Bruno. His French name he chose was Bruno Gaston. He was Bruno Gaston. Okay, who? Okay, for other people who may not know the Premier game and those players, what about if you were to compare it, or Team USA?
Okay, Team USA.
So like Balogun, he would be what
Balogun would be the 9.
The 9, okay.
Pulisic would be the 10.
Okay, then the left wing or wide midfielder, that would be in, like for Team USA, who would that be?
Like Tillman on one side?
Okay.
If I remember right, let me double check to see the.
Doesn't McKennie play like the 8?
Yeah, McKinney plays the 8, and then Tyler Adams plays as a 6.
Okay, all right, hey guys, for those who didn't know, goalkeeper is 1, kind of like in baseball. Pitcher is the 1.
Good job, Ethan.
Hey, there it is. I never, I gotta be honest, I never really had equated or thought about the numbering that you got, kind of, and what that represents with the players. I never paid that close of attention. And then you guys were talking about like, oh, son
it's
of
funny
a gun.
You say that, because on the ESPN Cleveland thing the other day, they were talking about the traditional NFL numbers.
Yes.
And I've never really got into that kind of stuff, like what traditional line.
The actual number. Yeah. Because they used to literally be like, okay, these are the numbers that were assigned for these position groups, and you couldn't be this and you couldn't be that. It was a whole thing. And they finally are making these exceptions, like we talked about in the preseason when Jared Verse said out, "Hey, give me a number," to Dylan Gabriel, and no, he paid him for it.
And I wanted to make it easier because like Team USA, so like when it came to what Pochettino ran for the US, he ran like 5 different formations.
Okay.
Because like I think against Belgium he ran like a 4-1-4-1, and then against Australia he ran like a 3-5-2, and then he ran a 4-3-3 in another game. So he's run a bunch of different stuff, but
Right. And how do you, okay, so all right, that all being said, how do you think that with these changes they're going to be able to build on what they finished with the Zerby to end last season?
I mean, it's gonna look more so, and I think Deserby actually said this himself. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but he kind of wants to go back to kind of like that Ange ball kind of style.
Okay, which
Where
is a lot of attacking, and you might give
it's
up
a
the
lot,
counterattack, you might give up some goals, but you're going to be pressing forward.
yeah, it's a lot of pressing forward, a lot of shots on, a lot of shots, and a lot of high press on when the opponent gets the ball. It's a lot of high press, a lot of doubling up on guys, and a lot of trying to once you lose the ball, win it back immediately. And yeah, you're going to face a lot of counterattacks in that kind of style, but I'd rather score 4 goals a game and give up 1 than kind of sit back like Thomas Frank and give up 3 and only score 1. So I would rather play super high press, super
Yeah.
up the field. And that's why that's why we're signing these guys, because Savinho's great out in the wing. And like Mike said, he the way the Zerby's going to play is those wingers going to play really up high on the pitch and force those wing backs to kind of play the entire length of the field. And, you know, if those guys are up high, it's going to be hard to track back against Savinho. It's going to be hard to track back against, you know, whoever else is playing on the wing, and Marmouche playing up, you know, as kind of like a 9 or kind of like Mike said, 9.5, where he's playing kind of like as a 9, but also as a 10 a little bit. Because he likes to drop back a little bit, then press forward. So
Right.
it's more so just attacking the wings, forcing them to go way up high, and forcing the other team's wing backs to kind of just exhaust themselves by going up and down. And it's a lot of less playing through the middle and playing more down the wing and playing down the flanks, and then getting back into the middle once everyone's like spaced out, and then it allows like Madison and everyone else to come just kind of like rush through the middle and receive the ball into the middle and make things happen again, to play more through balls. And it's a lot more easier if I had like a board and I could like shift it all around. Like
we'll get that for you. We're going to get that for you.
I think we're going to whiteboard. I'm going to sit here just like move things.
But I was listening to you know Brian, yeah, that does Tottenham on tour, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He was in a stream earlier, and we were talking. They were talking about this, about how one of the peeves from Spurs fans for years has been about having players that are just they're players all over the place. They're like for different like systems, and you struggle to get rid of them because they don't actually fit what the manager wants.
Right.
The Spurs this summer have been very specific and targeting players who exactly fit what the Zerby wants. Like his exact
finally.
Players that don't, he's kicking them out the door. Or if they don't want to be there, they're out. Like Van Heck and Senesi are 2 of the best progressive passing centre backs in the Premier League. That suits the Zerby ball perfectly. Tonali and Fernandes in the midfield, they like press, but they also like to advance. So that's going to be good for the Zerby ball. Like Marmouche essentially is going to be perfect. Savinho is going to be high up, so that's going to cause problems.
Okay. Right. How are we filling the Christian Romero hole? Is that going to be a big tough loss for the defense?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
It doesn't really suit the Zerby ball, like in my opinion.
Right.
He's too reckless for it. He's too reckless.
Yeah, and that's good because I'm sick of hearing the announcers.
And then Vicario going out on loan, which hopefully
thank you.
He doesn't really suit either because he's not very good with his feet. So
no, not really.
It's about time that Spurs are actually finding players that fit the style rather than it just being a mixed bag. Like you sack a manager like Conte, you bring in who replaced Conte? I can't even remember. Was it?
It wasn't. It wasn't Nuno.
Was it Nuno straight afterwards or not? I can't remember.
I think it was Nuno. No, because I thought Nuno came in before Conte.
But either or, you have players that suit one manager. Then when the new manager comes in, the players don't suit the manager. You force it to try and work, but it's not ever going to work. And then you struggle to move on those players. But now Spurs are purposely moving on players that don't fit the style.
I figured it out, Mike. So it was Conte, then Stellini.
Yeah, but Stellini was his
What's he like?
Yeah, it was,
Was he the
it
guy
was-
who didn't get his work visa
Right.
before he got fired? Or
Yeah, because it was Nuno, then it was Conte, then it was Stellini, and then it was Ryan Mason after Stellini, and then it was Big Ange.
Oh, so yeah, we were trying to force Big Andrew players that were kind of semi-suited for Conte, but then they weren't. So it was like, but now we're actually focusing specifically on players that fit the manager's style.
Amazing how that works. It's amazing. It's amazing when you're trying to build a team that you actually try and get players that suit the style of the guy who's coaching them and fit in the systems.
But
Now,
like 30 years ago, football teams would just put players together and they'd have to just hope it works. But now it's like, because of the transfer fees and the transfer budget,
right?
You can go and actually specifically target players that will fit your style.
No, that absolutely.
Which is why they're getting Savino and Mamouche and they want Gakpo, because he thinks that all three of them together can transition into his style.
Nice.
So.
I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely looking forward to it. Brentford finished 9th in the table last year, and I guess I looked. I didn't see much. What have they done to improve themselves for this upcoming campaign?
I don't think they did too much.
I don't think they did either. I think I researched it a little bit. I didn't see squat, and I didn't
think
know.
they signed Sangare, midfield, who's meant to be pretty decent.
Yeah, I remember that. But I can go to their transfers. Yeah, they got Sangare, and yeah, I mean, they got Callum Wilson too. I forgot they got Callum Wilson.
Oh yeah, Callum Wilson from West Ham.
Yeah,
he scored against us last year. Remember that? He scored right at the end of that game when he came on. I remember.
But the only other signing they really got was Aiden Stokes from New York Red Bulls in the MLS.
All right, so basically they've not done much, and obviously Tottenham made a lot of moves. It'll be interesting to see how things come together on Saturday. Brentford, from what I've read and researched, they had a pretty decent amount of success last year scoring from set pieces. Is Tottenham finally going to be able to defend a set piece?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's kind of why you brought in Jan Paul Van Heck. That's why you have Marco Senesi.
Yeah,
those guys are good in the air. They're very good defensively.
And it sounds like both of them are going to start as well, because apparently Van der Ven's still got a slight knock, so he's probably not going to play, because he basically hasn't played in the preseason.
Okay. And what about how is when and how much will Kulusevski be able to play?
That's if he's able to.
If yeah, okay.
My expectations for Kulusevski are so low. It's like, if he can be a sub for 10 minutes for half the season.
Okay, I was just curious to see what we were thinking.
The other
there.
thing is as well, like, if Spurs get Mamouche through the door, are they going to play him as like a 10? So are they? It's potentially, and you don't start Maddison. Like, I wonder if that's kind of the thinking as well. So, like, especially if you get like a Gakpo, like, could you play Mamouche behind Gakpo and then just have
when
Maddison
will these guys and when will these guys be available? Savino and Marmouche.
So Savino, this is apparently, according to Spurs ITKs, Savino's pretty much nearly completed his medical. They're trying to get it done overnight because there's a 12 noon UK time deadline to the league. And they apparently already started the process for a visa, because you apparently need a work permit, even though he is leaving Man City to come to Spurs. Right. They're trying to get it through because De Zerbi wants him in the squad for Saturday. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
But they have to get it all done by noon on Friday, because that's the deadline to register your squad for the first
and
game.
I think that's why they're also racing to get Marmouche done as well, so they could get him in for a medical and trying to race to get his visa in. But I don't think Marmouche would get as lucky as Savino though to get in for Saturday. But I think that's why you're seeing him trying to race quickly through these transfers to be like, hey, look, we want these guys in the lineup now.
I think Spurs could get the medical contract signed. It's the stupid UK to UK work permit when they've already played for Premier League clubs the issue.
Yeah, that's such a stupid. I told Mike that's such a stupid thing. You like to have to get another work visa or whatever. It's like, dude, you already live in the country, you play in the country. Why do you need a secondary?
It's as if like your actual overall.
It's like if I had one in America, wouldn't I have to get a new one if I change employer?
No, I don't think so. If you move, I don't think you have to. Do you?
You probably have to if you have like a work visa, you may have to get some. If
No, I
you
think
might be. What are you
I-
saying?
it's more so like me and you who already live here. Like if you moved back to Ohio,
Right.
would you have to get another work visa to work in the state of Ohio instead of?
What am I working for a different company or a different employer?
This is the thing. It's a different employer, isn't it? Spurs. The Man
Right.
City
So
Spurs are
unless you could say, look, the Premier League is essentially the larger.
yeah, but the Premier League requires it.
I know.
You need to be registered. You have to have an up-to-date work visa. It's
No.
nonsense.
Eh,
I get it if it was. I get it if it was. He was coming from an Italian club or
Yeah.
Brazil, but like Premier
I
League.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's
So
just a weird thing.
it is. So, all right, last question on this, guys. Where are we predicting Spurs in the table this year? What are our expectations for Spurs?
I'm gonna go. I've been sticking with like fifth.
Okay, you go fifth. Mike, you're saying in the top three. All right.
If they get if Savino is going to happen because it's been agreed. Some people are saying Mamouche has basically been agreed and he's going to have a medical probably tomorrow. And then if Spurs get Gakpo or someone else as a forward, then I think with one game a week, Spurs could get third.
All right.
There's some uncertainty with the other teams like Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, all new managers. Carrick with Man United, he's going into Champions League this season from one game a week last year.
Right.
Villa are selling all their best players. Yeah, they're bringing in players, but potentially their top 5 players are all going to leave. So it's like there's so much uncertainty amongst the other teams that with the signings Spurs are making, if it gels quickly, I think Spurs could get top 3 this season, and they might even get second.
I'm gonna say,
but my minimum expectation is 5th. Like,
all right, I'll
be surprised if Spurs do get like 3rd.
Yeah, I want to stay conservative. I'm gonna go. I think top 6. I'll go top 6. I think that's reasonable.
I don't think that thing is. I don't think they're spending to be 6th. They're spending.
Oh, I know that. Oh, absolutely. But I'm gonna keep. Look, I'm not gonna go overboard. I'm gonna wait and see how it is. Don't want to get too excited too soon here. Let's let it play out a little bit here. So everybody will have more updates on this. Spurs open and the Premier League opens this week. Spurs taking on Brentford on Saturday. And I think we have hit a lot of topics here. Want to have a chance for us all.
Columbus Crew talk.
No. We'll talk about them later. No, I think now is a time, and maybe this is the time it will come up. Let's find out what has everybody going nuclear this week. Mike, last week you were in a great mood. You didn't have anything that had you going nuclear. Do you have anything that has you going nuclear this week?
I didn't have anything coming into the show, no.
All right, fair enough. Drew, anything going nuclear this week? Oh, because there's always something good coming from Drew. I love this. These are the updates. The parking update.
Please not be apartment related.
What has Mike going nuclear?
That's so funny. It's gonna not be apartment related.
Related parking in the cars.
I mean, I can write about my parking garage itself because the maneuverability in there is horrible. Every car you see has like a bunch of scratches on the side of their cars because you cannot maneuver in that garage whatsoever.
That's brutal.
It's enter the garage and immediate right turn, and it's just like you got like this much space to turn.
Oh, that sounds like my worst nightmare. Well,
yeah.
Tell us, do you have any? What has you going nuclear this week?
I mean, I don't really have nothing crazy because again, I'm going on vacation in 2 days. So
so you're in a good mood. You're in a good mood.
I'm like relaxed. I'm like vacation. And like all of it is vacation. Nothing can ruin this for me. I'm leaving in 2 days. I'm just breathing in. So I don't have really anything that has me going nuclear because I've been focusing away from stuff that's been upsetting me. And I've just been more so focusing on things that are making me happy because I got vacation and that's all I care about right now.
Well, I can appreciate that, guys, but it wouldn't be right if I didn't have something that had me going nuclear. And quite frankly, you two guys being happy almost, in fact, makes me, has me going nuclear because
I've actually got something that has me going nuclear.
All right, let's hear it, sir. It's got to be me and my complaining about the Guardians.
It's not you going nuclear and our going nuclear chat, which I had to change the name for because it was just turned into you going nuclear between the Guardians game. As soon as we didn't get a hit or we weren't giving up run, you go nuclear about it.
All right, well, tell it. What has you going nuclear, Mike?
So what has me going nuclear is rival Premier League fans, because Spurs are spending. Well, the two aspects of it really, because Spurs are spending money because they generate good revenue. Teams are saying, "Oh, because Spurs finished 17th last year, we shouldn't be allowed to spend that kind of money when a team that finished sixth are having to sell their best players." But actually, their players either want to leave or they're choosing to sell. They don't actually have to sell financially. And also people saying like, "Oh, Savino, you're paying 80 million for him when he's scored 2 goals in last season and stuff." And it's like, you do realise he's not playing many minutes in Man City because he's like battling a place like behind like Jeremy Doku. And he's actually, and some players play better in different systems. Like Savino might have not been a Guardiola style kind of player, but then he comes to Spurs and is like a De Zerbi kind of style player, and he's actually going to perform to a greater level. But football fans of rival teams just don't understand that, and it's like driving me up the wall that people are just criticising Spurs transfer business because they're actually spending for the first time in forever. It's like
yes. Oh man, no. Good call. Well, I guess what has me going nuclear, guys, is this idea. So obviously on social media, as Browns fans, there's a lot of commentary about the play at the quarterback position or whatever. And what has me going nuclear is when somebody makes a comment about a player, a play, and a thought and gives an opinion, and their immediate response or retort is to insult the person, and then further to say, "I bet you've never played a down of football. I bet you've never played a minute of basketball. I bet you've never done X, Y, or Z." Look, I get it. Not everybody has played the game, but that doesn't mean you can't know a lot about the game and can't study it and can't understand it. I'm never going to be big enough to be a football linebacker. I'm not going to be an offensive lineman. I'm not going to be a quarterback, a wide receiver. I might not even be a water boy, okay? But that doesn't mean I can't sit here and watch a game and understand it. It doesn't mean I can't take all this information in and figure it out. And the same goes for all these people who are on social media who talk about it. Whether you played the game or not, that's not the basis to say someone's opinion is invalid. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I totally agree. It drives me insane.
It drives you. You said you totally agree or don't totally agree?
I totally agree with you. It drives me insane. Just because you didn't play a sport.
Right.
So you're telling me that I can't say that Reece Hoskins needs to be DFA'd or Gabby Harris should have gone 4 months ago just because I've never
swung a bat
baseball in my life, like because
exactly.
I've never played baseball, so
right. So you're disqualified.
I'm disqualified. I can't have any opinions on players' performances because I've never actually tried to play the sport.
Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And then we wouldn't have sports radio or sports TV because a lot of those guys have never played a down of football in their lives or swung a baseball bat in their entire life. So.
Right. I mean, Aaron Goldhammer I think he was a very high level skater, ice skater. And Tony Rizzo, apparently he played football at a very high level, as he says. He was at Mid-Park. Yeah, folks, I understand there's a lot of passion when it comes to sports and sports takes and opinions, but going after another person with the argument that you basically have no value and your opinion is useless because you didn't play the game is absolutely asinine. You're right. Maybe I don't have as much experience as some guy who played in the NFL or college football because I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I still can have a pretty decent opinion if I've followed the game. Yeah, there's got to be some people who have no idea what they're talking about, and you can understand that, but really, is that this is what it's become. I saw some people, they posted just the most awful things, like and just personal attacks on people, on reporters that they do really makes me upset, especially because I know some of these people. And to see that kind of behavior drives me nuts. It really does. Quit criticizing people and their whether it's their physique or anything, physique, voice, hair, lack thereof, whatever it is. Stop. Okay, it's gone too far. These people are reporters. Hey, I bet you've never read a book in your life. I bet you can't even write the alphabet. Hey, I bet you don't even know how to talk. What is this crap? Get the hell out of here, okay? So people calling out others and saying their opinion isn't valid because they haven't done this or that has me going nuclear. Fellas, we've gone strong here for an hour and 45, a very long show, and it deserves a vacation for Drew. Want to thank everybody who has tuned in. Appreciate you all being with us. And guys, we'll come back together. Drew, you'll be on vacation next week, but we'll be in touch, and we may stay tuned, guys. We may have a possible big guest who comes available next week or in the coming weeks. We will keep you all posted on our schedule. So want to thank Mike Pellegrini and Drew Hagenbaugh. And we will catch you again either next week, maybe the week after. Watch the Browns this weekend, all kinds of good stuff. So for Mike Pellegrini, for Drew Hagenbaugh, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and you've been tuned in to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the Land, part of the Land Multi